Oh, now it started. Okay. So we'll see how to create a sample Java service. Okay. So if you see, the Java service is also like a flow service, but the only difference is like flow service already built in, but this Java service we are writing it. Okay. So when we need the Java service, when you think like built-in service is not sufficient for your requirement, then you will go and write a Java service. So writing and advantages of Java service. This is important question. 1 second, guys. Penchal Reddy garu, you are there? Okay. So I just want to confirm. Okay. So advantages of Java service. So more flexible and manipulate data. So you can easily manipulate the data and it's very flexible and more robust error handling. So this error handling, you can write it in the Java program itself. Okay. So you can do the direct database calls and then potentially faster. So this is important. So forget about these three. So tell them Java service very fast because so in our regular flow services, when you're calling the sub services from the main service, every time what it does is, so for example, okay, so let me create a new service. So for example, this is the new flow service and I am calling different other sub services. So whenever I'm calling these services, what our this new flow service, which is a main service, what it does is first it will initialize its own pipeline by creating the input and output for this. Okay, so this main new flow service will create the pipeline in, and what it does is for each sub service, it will send its own duplicate copy of the pipeline in. Okay, it won't send actual pipeline, it will send same copy of the pipeline to this, and this branch example will take that copy and it will add all the data for it, and again it will send to the main service, and main service will take that and replace the existing one. But Java service, so it won't take the copy, it directly takes the pipeline. Okay, so it will edit the existing pipeline only, it won't take the duplicate. So here if you say it has to, in our regular flow services, it has to create a new pipeline copy and it has to send here and again it has to receive. But in the Java service, it will take only that and it edit. So whenever you come out from the Java service, so your pipeline will already updated. So you don't need to re-update again. Did you get the difference? Okay, so that's how you'll say that's a faster. We'll see how to create a sample flow service. And before that, you want to see, so if your Java is available in integration server or not, you can connect to integration server. And if you go to about page, then you can see the Java version. So for example, like this, go to about page, then you can see server environment. So which Java version you have and what is the virtual machine name and other information related to Java. Okay, so you can find it in the about page. Oh, server connected to now. Okay, my server was not working, so I will connect to the another integration server and we'll do that. So this Java server will also similar to flow service. Go to new and create a Java. So that coffee symbol you will see. Yes, Java. Finish. So once you finish this Java service, so in our regular flow service, you will see tree, layout, input, output, and the empty one here like this. But instead of this, so you will see some Java code inside. Okay. So you can see, so whatever the service name we given, it will commit as a method. So the package name always will be your folder name. Java package name is always a folder name, and then your method name will come as a, sorry, your service name will come as a method, and then your class name will come with like your service underscore svc service. Okay, so now how to start? So same way, so when I'm writing a flow service, what you do, you create a input and output here also. For example, I want to concatenate two, I'll say string one, string two, and I want to get come out of it result. Okay, I want to concatenate these two and I want to store it here. So in order to do that, so first you have to know how to achieve it. So right click, so you can say generate code. So when you say generate code, it will give you code with the input and output. So you have to say, you have to create input and output and right click on the method and say generate Java code. Okay, once you say like these are the different options it gives for implementing this service. Are you on to implement this service, I mean you are creating this service, or for this service from the another service from the another service, or for calling this service from a client. If you have any other client which is not in this mission and you want to call, then it can gives you that. Or for debugging the service, or do you want to debug this? No, I want to implement this service, still I am implementing it. So you have to say implementing it, say next, and you want to select all input and output and finish. So generated code has been copied to clipboard. Okay, and then come here, paste, control V, and then you see some code was copied with the input and the output. The only thing what you have to do is, okay, so write a logic. So you already have the string 1 and string 2. You have the result as a normal variable. Instead of that, you can do a create a variable say string result equal to str1 plus str2. So this part you have to think about how to achieve it in the Java. So you can Google it or you can do whatever you want. Okay, just remove this, Control X. Okay, did you see this? So when you create a Java service, your method will come as a public static final void. Okay, this is standard, you have to remember. So this won't be able to change. So your method did not return any value and it's a static. and the pipeline, whatever you give the pipeline, it will come as a class of the iData. So these are important terms which you have to remember. So your pipeline will be in the form of iData class. So this is a web method specific iData. So whatever data you write, so you can see the iData. So what to say? Okay. So everything like whatever the built-in services you see, so they will be writing like this, the Java services, and then they will give to you. Okay, if you see, so even like I'm writing a service like this much big. So this is also a Java service. Since like I'm writing, I'm working for the R&D team. Oh man, I should not show this. Okay, so if you see, everything will come in the form of iData. From iData, you have to work and you have to do that. Okay, so the data which coming from your service, so which is a pipeline, will come into your iData class. From iData class, so there is a like for everything you need a cursor. So this is a pipeline is a variable which type of object type of the iData class. For that pipeline, you need to get a cursor, pipeline.get cursor. So it will give you the cursor to your pipeline. By using this cursor, so you can retrieve the data by using this iData util. So just remember, first you need a pipeline. From that pipeline, you have to get a cursor. So once you get the cursor, by using this iData util dot, so if it is a string type, okay, from this pipeline cursor, I'm getting the string one. So the string one is nothing but a your input, this name. Okay, pipeline cursor string 2. Okay, this class you have to remember, and this class you have to remember, and this also iData cursor. First, your pipeline will come as iData, and you'll get a cursor. From the cursor, you will get the values. Okay, once you have the values, then so this result, if you see here, earlier it's a normal string. If I pass the normal string, so result will always come as a result only. But I want to pass the concatenation of these two, so I am giving it as a variable now instead of a string, so that the value of this concatenation will come up here instead of in the double quotes. Has been restored. Good. Okay. See now, run as run service. I'll say string 1 A B C D E F G H. Okay, so it was reversed. Control X. Every time you save it, it will. So if you see this A B C D E F G H came as a variable name, but I want result as a variable name, and this value has to come here like that. Okay, string 1, string 2, and result is A B C D E F G H. And if I it will say like this. So this is a very simple writing a Java service, and only problem is like you have to take care of converting into string type. For example, let's say like these two are the integer values. Okay, string 1 and string 2, they are getting as a numbers, and you want to convert result as a addition. In that case, what you have to do is, okay, gives me 23 as a result. Okay, so this internal conversions and all you have to take care of, because always you will receive a string type and converting into your required form, and again from there whatever the form you want to give it as a output. So that's your headache, how to do that. Hope it's clear. Can I proceed with the next? Okay, so first you'll create a new service and you'll create the input and output, and you'll come to your method and right click, generate the code, and it will give you some skeleton from the input and output. Okay, from that input and output, the important thing is like what is the iData? iData is a class which your pipeline can be stored, and for the pipeline you have to get a cursor. From the cursor you have to retrieve the input and output values. Okay, when you are retrieving, you'll say iData string. When you are putting the data, and you will say iData put. That's it. Okay. So next concept we will see the RESTful service. 1 second, guys. Okay, the question from Vivek is like, in which type of situations you'll go for the Java service? As earlier said, like there will be so many built-in services here. Okay, so for example, recently I got like one requirement. So where I need to extract the fields, I will show you. Okay, 1 second, guys. I'll show you that. Okay, see, from this metadata call, I'm receiving the response like this. Where are you? Okay, so my output will be response body. I'm doing it full request. So I'm receiving these variables like this: home, contacts, accounts, opportunities, cases, the full module list. Okay, so what I want to do is, instead of like one by one, so I want to maintain a single list. Okay, so like this, and I want to get the name, like for example, home, first record, contacts, second record, accounts, third record. So I'm getting a single element, but I want to make it as a list, which is not possible through our existing services. I have written a Java service, so that's what I have shown you earlier. How to convert so these individual string types to list type. Okay, so these type of scenarios, like very rare you will get it. Okay, so in this type of scenarios you won't be able to go with the existing built-in services, so you have to think about like how your solution should be, and you have to go with the Java services. Okay, our normal integration will happen with the regular flow services only. So this will happen only when you have the other systems which are like very complex. If your backend system or like other systems which are complex and you want to do that, then you have to do this through Java services. This actually Java service. Okay. So next we'll see the RESTful services. Okay. For you, like, can you guys tell me like what do you know about RESTful service? Okay. Anything else? And even you can see like, so there are so many tutorials available. Okay, so now we know. Okay, so before going to the web RESTful service, it will be good if you go with the web services. So I was having one PPT for the web services also. Give me 1 second. Mm, So we will see what is a web service and like what are the different terms involved in it, and like how do we use web services in the web methods. Okay, so overview of a web service. So web service is nothing but like a function which was exposed by the other party, and you will be invoking it. Okay, for the best example will be, for example, if you are doing any online credit transactions, what do you do? So you will give your card number, okay, and your CVV number, and that like maybe like you are doing it from the Paytm, or maybe you are doing it from some other restaurant, but actually that call will go to your banking, and from banking it will get the response, and then it will say whether your transaction is successful or failure. So actual that happen through the web service, that calls from your actual merchant to the bank, that will be web service. So your bankers won't allow others to connect to their systems. So that what they do is, instead of directly connecting to their database, they will give you one function as a web service. So they will say, SBI guy will say, I don't want you to connect to my system. So I will give you one function. So if you pass the credit card number and CVV number and other details to it, then I will check and I will get back the result. So the person who is using that web service don't know what's actual processing he is doing in the backend. What he knows is, so he'll give some input and he'll get the output. So web service will give you the privacy and security. Okay, so web services like happen through the like Vistel. So Vistel, like as I told, I don't want to give the details about my functionality. What I do is I will tell him what functions I have and what inputs and what output he has to provide. So that information I will put it into the Vistel web service description language. I call it as it's an XML file. I will put the information into Vistel and I will give it to the other party so that he know for his requirement what function he has to call and what are the inputs he has to pass and what output he will get it. Okay, UDDA. So UDDA is a repository to store all these type of web services. Okay, so a person who is exposing the web service, he can go with the UDDA or he can do it a direct call also based on the partner agreement. If both the parties has the agreement and they don't want to put it into the internet, so they will share between those two only. They don't give it to UDDA, which is a internet. Okay, so what are the communication protocols in the web services? So we have the SOAP, Simple Object Access Protocol, we call it as. So this is the communication protocol to communicate both the parties in the web services. So there will be two concepts called the provider and consumer. Provider who gives the web service and consumer who consumes that particular web service. Okay, if you see like what are the terms we call it as, so it will be like this. So there will be a requester and there is a provider. Say it's a banker and this is your Paytm. So Paytm I will ask banker to provide the web services. We may provide through the UDDA or he will give it him to directly also. So the transmission of the data will happen through the SOAP, Simple Object Access Protocol we call it as. Okay, so in the web methods, so everything will be in the form of descriptors. We'll call it a web service descriptors for the consumer as well as the provider. So uh, I think it's already 8 only. Okay, we'll see a small example how to create a web service in the web methods. So you can see like there will be so many available web services. So there is one site called the web services x.net. Okay, so in this web services x.net, you will see some built-in web services. For example, say I want to see some utilities, backup lookup data. Okay, so we'll see this example, country details. Okay, so get countries. If you want to get all the, so this is a Vistel file. So I told you Vistel file is a XML which looks like this. And there is a important what it will be having. So it will be having the types and each part I will explain it. Maybe not now. Okay, so we still will be having a types nothing but your inputs and outputs and the message. So message is a so by using these types it will say what's the input and what's output for your particular function, which is a message. For each operation, what is the input and output will be having in the message. So if you see there is a operation, so operation is nothing but the function which the user is giving. For this operation we will be having a documentation. For this currency you can find the documentation here, and then what's the input you have to pass and what output you will give it. Okay, so there will be document types, messaging, and then operation. Operation is the actual function. Okay, and there are binding types also. Okay, visual binding. So it will say what is the operation and what is the like where the particular operation has to be performed. Soap action is where that action has to be performed. Okay, visual binding also important. Once you complete the binding, for each operation they have bindings, binding. Okay. And then once it's completed, then it will say so actual your country so service. Okay, everything is bundle only, and then there is a service. So the service is nothing but like actual your operation where it has to perform. This is also similar to the binding. So binding will be place, and the service is like what are the different types. Okay, so country type soap, and like so there are different protocols. If you're using a country soap, it will come up here. If he is using soap 1 2, it will come up here. He is using the HTTP GET and HTTP post, which are type of RESTful. These two are the so they have different endpoints for each operation. Okay, for example, say this is our whistle, and by using this whistle, you can perform all these operations. You can get the countries, you can get the currency of a country, okay, and you can get the currency by country. Get all currencies also, you can get it. So in order to do that, first you need the whistle. So web services expert nut is the provider. He is already providing a whistle file. We are consumers. You batch. Okay, see, there is a web service descriptor. Next, provider and consumer. We are the consumer. So whenever you say consumer, you have to provide the whistle details. So you can give the URL, or you can uh, so this XML file, whatever we have seen. So you can copy that XML file and you can store internally and you give the place also. Anything will be fine. Okay, so make it as it is and then finish. Okay, if you see, so what are the operations they have given it here? So get countries, get countries. Okay, get country by country code, get country by country code. What is that? Currency code, country code, yeah, country code. So all these functions you can see, and even there will be request and response associated with it. So and if you see, so when I see a consumer consumed, so there will be one descriptor created, and again one more folder with underscore. This is important. So this folder will be containing connectors, document types, and response services. So connectors is the one which we will be calling. So this is like our regular flow services. For example, I want to get the countries. I will call this service. Okay, this will be our regular flow service only. If you go to input and output, you will see what inputs you have to pass. Okay, so there is nothing in the get countries, but if you see the output, you will get in the form of result as a string. So I will call this. Okay, I don't need to pass anything. Okay, you will be getting the result. Okay, request headers, response headers, and then my response, actual response. By control A. If you see all the countries will find out for the India. Indian Ocean Territory, India. Okay, so you'll get all the countries, and this is your headache how to convert this particular data into your required format. Okay, this is like when you're consuming it. So tonight or tomorrow morning we'll see like how to provide the web service. So we have seen that consumption part, and we'll see the provider part, and like there are a few more concepts. Any questions as of now, or we are good to go? Just go through the video one more time today, so that if you have any doubts, you can get back to me in the evening session or tomorrow morning. I will let you know by 5. So it will be either evening or morning. I'm exiting the meeting. Sorry, meeting. Okay, please explain the concept with a scenario.